Welcome to Fraser Mac Gaming, I'm Fraser Mac. This is the latest video in my Fraser Mac Gaming News series, where I go through the latest news for the Switch, cover the games coming to everyone's favourite hybrid system, and I have the occasional rant when someone really pisses me off. We're into February now, and it's officially the longest gap between Nintendo Directs since they began in 2011. The last non-game specific Direct was back in September, but despite us eagerly anticipating the next one, and many people predicting one in January, including stupid old me, it hasn't happened in 2019 yet. So why have we not had a Direct yet? What do the rumours say? And what surprises does Nintendo have for us? Find out after this. So we all took the bait. Yeah, YouTubers, journalists and fans alike, we all expected a Direct in January. Some fool even predicted there could be two. Yeah, that would be me. If you haven't seen my January Direct predictions video yet, then you can take a look in the card in the top right of the screen now. I thought Nintendo would maybe have a Fire Emblem Direct in Japan and a full Direct for all the Nintendo fans across the globe. I didn't expect an Indie Highlights video, but that was a very cool surprise. You can also catch up on what it contained and my thoughts on it in the top right of the screen right now. Moving on though, we've had constant surprises and big news stories about the Switch, release dates for games, and obviously there's been some heart-wrenching admissions from Nintendo. It seems the longer the gap has gone without a Nintendo Direct, the more news and the more hype that's been built by everyone for Nintendo content. So let's start with the bad news, and potentially one of the big factors in why we've not had a Nintendo Direct yet. Yes, sadly, back in the 25th of January, we got the heartbreaking news that the development of Metroid Prime 4 was being scratched and completely restarted. So yes, Retro, they've been brought back on board to produce a version of the game that lives up to Nintendo's seal of quality. It was sad to hear at the time. I personally thought it was going to be the major holiday season game along with the next gen of Pokemon, but the resounding reaction to the news was one of sadness, because a genuine disappointment, that Metroid Prime 4 wasn't going to be coming anytime soon, but also fans congratulating Nintendo for sticking to their high standards. Numerous developers, obviously lots of names could be named here, have been criticised in recent years for putting the profit margin before quality and definitely before the fans' enjoyment of the end product. We've seen some recent disasters. I'm looking at you, Fallout 76. Luckily I managed to avoid that shit show and the complete mess that the game ended up being. Nintendo have taken a very brave step and they've been transparent but also quite clever with the PR for such a decision. If the Direct had gone ahead in January without Metroid Prime 4 and there was no news at all in its development, things could have started to get ugly. Now, I think the development of Metroid not making the grade has a lot to do with there being no Direct so far this year. I also think you need to take a look at the sales figures for Smash Ultimate and the Switch during the holiday season. They put so much into promoting the game and it's such a flagship title on Nintendo consoles that their plan all along might have been to give it some room to breathe and not have a January Direct. It sold so well, and Nintendo probably expected the most extensive version ever of Smash to sell really well. They probably didn't want to put any doubts in people's heads about where to spend their money or what to prioritise their Nintendo cash on. We got confirmation of the Switch sales figures up to December 2018 and they are staggering. Business Insider provided figures from Nintendo's latest financials. The Nintendo Switch has sold 32 million units already, which is more than the PS4 sold in its first 2 years. Smash Ultimate also managed to sell over 12 million units in just a few weeks. This is more than Breath of the Wild in the entire Switch lifetime so far, and it only lags behind Super Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And not by a hell of a lot either. It may be in the millions at the moment, but given that it's only been out for a few weeks, Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe could easily be overcome this year. So maybe Nintendo were planning all along to give Smash a lot of room to get the headlines and the sales, obviously. Not just in terms of the game itself, but in terms of systems. They always need games that will sell systems, and Smash is definitely one of those. So Nintendo may have played us all along or it may have been a late decision on reviewing Metroid Prime 4's progress that caused the delay. Moving on to the latest rumours and what we could expect from Nintendo in 2019 and in the Direct itself. The latest whirlwind of leaks and stories have suggested a Direct is finally imminent, and Nintendo have sent me an early birthday card saying they've got my back. Yes, you have to take all rumours, all leaks with a pinch of salt, but this current one does have some credence and a little bit of weight behind it. Yes, it is my birthday next week, and the rumours that the Direct could drop on February 13th is very exciting for me. It could also just be the date we get the notification of the Direct, but it's not far off. It's in that ballpark. So the story is, according to numerous sites and YouTubers, I saw it on Nintendo Soup and on RGT85's channel, so you can put as much weight on them as you want. The rumour is that King Zell, a well-known Resettra poster, has dropped hints about the Direct coming on February 13th. I'm not familiar with King Zell and their previous work or predictions. They have been reported as correctly predicting the World Ends With You release, the Pokemon Let's Go news, the Animal Crossing reveal, and also the Indie Highlights video. That's a pretty good crystal ball in my opinion. According to RGT85, he's also predicted a number of games are due to be in the next Direct. The first one, Pikmin 3. Yep, that's a port of the Wii U game, which seems strange because Pikmin 4 has been close to completion for some time according to Miyamoto. It seems to have hit some problems though, and who knows what has happened to it now. If Pikmin 3 is being ported, then this would seemingly kick Pikmin 4 into the long grass. A lot of fans are pretty excited about Pikmin on Switch though, so getting something in the meantime will surely keep them happy. Box Boy was another game that was mentioned. It's a 3DS game apparently. I'm not very familiar with it, and it's not something I'm too bothered about. A game a lot of people are very excited about though, especially since Metroid Prime 4 is now starting over, is the Metroid Prime Trilogy. The Metroid Prime Trilogy was expected to be revealed at the Game Awards 2018 back in December, but we probably know why that didn't happen in the end, and the game is supposed to have been finished for some time. This being revealed with a release date over the coming months would be a huge hit for Nintendo. It would definitely smooth over some of those nagging feelings after the Metroid Prime 4 issues. This could even be revealed as releasing shortly after the Direct. It's supposed to have been finished for some time. If they were maybe going to reveal it in December, they might turn around and say it's coming out in a couple of weeks. Who knows? Everyone's favourite plumber though is also supposed to be getting another outing on Switch this year. Yes, Super Mario Maker 2 has been rumoured to be revealed as part of the upcoming Direct. It was a huge hit on the Wii U in Super Mario Maker, as far as Wii U games could be huge hits. It brought creativity and customization to the Mario 2D world, and it was a fantastic idea. I'd be excited to see a sequel on Switch. I've been expecting to come sooner or later because we all know Mario sells. I can't wait to see how it works on the Switch because you're not going to have the stylus and be able to draw on two screens, etc. What features and settings they add in to build onto the first Mario Maker could be really exciting. The big news though, and even bigger than Mario Maker, and this could be the biggest seller on Switch in 2019, it's Game Freak's next-gen Pokemon game on the Switch. No, I'm not a big Pokemon fan, and I've never actually played a Pokemon game on a Nintendo system. I know. I need to change that at some point. Some people are going to want to lynch me just because I've said that. But I do know that Game Freak typically have their own directs with really big reveals. We get updates and short interviews on Nintendo Directs, etc. But usually they save the really juicy stuff for themselves. This is the first Pokemon mainline game on a home console though, so this could be a big opportunity to go into hyper-marketing mode together and combine their forces to really break some records. That is not all the rumoured games though. There's all sorts of other big rumours around right now. King Zell has also mentioned that a 2D Zelda game is on the cards, and this would be fantastic. Nintendo reviving the 2D games with modern gameplay and a larger game world to explore would be just outstanding. Just look at what Chucklefish are achieving right now with Wargroove. It's essentially a revitalised Advance Wars with modern depth and variety in the gameplay, and it still retains all that charm and enjoyment of retro 2D games. I still want 2D games, whether it be Zelda or Metroid or bring me some more Donkey Kong. Just keep those games coming. I still love 2D games. Moving on, more surprises, more leaks, more rumours. I've been thinking long and hard about what surprises Nintendo could have for us in 2019 and in their Direct. They always have a lot up their sleeve. In January, I predicted we'd get news of updates to the Switch Online service. There's been a lot of talk of SNES games coming to the system, and maybe even some others like N64, GameCube, and even Game Boy games. I think we're going to have to wait for N64 and GameCube, but Those others could be on the table for the Direct or later this year. We've recently had news stories about Xbox Live coming to Switch, so you're starting to see Microsoft and Nintendo really join forces and really pump up their combined efforts to take out Sony. This is likely to mainly involve a lot more cross-platform online gaming, but imagine the possibilities in terms of 360 games on Switch, and also the two companies open up exclusive games for their platforms. I'm begging Nintendo for Cuphead on Switch, and I'd also like a little bit of Ori. I'm sure there's lots of other titles out there that would excite Switch fans. Let's not forget Banjo-Kazooie, Hello Smash DLC. The possibilities of Microsoft and Nintendo joining forces together and open up their libraries, I mean, the possibilities are just endless. Nintendo might also finally learn how to deliver an excellent and stable online service. Some things that might not be as exciting, but I still think Nintendo will bring us. I think there's going to be a Wii U port or two this year. DLC, Nintendo always love to use their DLC. Now I think Mario Party is crying out for DLC. It sold really well. It's a classic franchise that they revived really well, but the online was lacking and it needs more boards. Lots of people want Mario Odyssey DLC, and this is likely to happen at some point, but it sells pretty well on its own, so they might just leave it to tick over for a while longer yet. Smash DLC is obviously going to be revealed gradually through the year. It's going to keep coming, they've got lots up their sleeve. Smash being knocked off the #1 spot on the download charts by Wargroove might just encourage Nintendo to leak a little bit more though, because yes, that big news, an eShop game developed by Chucklefish without any major marketing budget has knocked Smash off its podium. I mean, that's just crazy. Smash is one of the biggest games of all time on a Nintendo system in terms of how quickly it sold, but it's been knocked off the #1 spot by a brilliant indie game. This proves how big eShop games can be for Nintendo in terms of revenue, because they don't have to fund their development, they don't usually cost a lot, but then they can take a hefty chunk of profit for simply letting them on their eShop. This is why Nintendo usually backs a couple of games in main directs and has obviously indie showcases, etc. And it's also why I think a couple of games will make it onto the next direct. I had predicted that Wargroove and Image Inform / Thunderfold's new SteamWorld game would fill those slots if it happened in January. Now, both of those games have been covered in the Indie Highlights presentation. I wouldn't expect them to get a second outing. There's some other big indie games on the horizon that could do with some promotion. Shovel Knight's expansion, the final one of course, King of Cards, could be shown off. Shakedown Hawaii is on the way from VBlank, and also Terraria is getting very close to completion. Nintendo always has surprises for us though, and there could be something completely different waiting around the corner that we don't even know about. Moving on to third-party content, I'm going to save the big Nintendo news for last, so you're going to have to hold on for that. Third-party support is going to go through the roof in 2019 and 2020 for the Switch. Sales have been so good for the system and for games in general, so all the big studios are getting involved. I still think Dragon Quest Builders 2 or Dragon Quest SI, whatever the Switch version is called, will get coverage, possibly both of them, because we need to know Western release details. Square Enix have gone big on Switch due to the long association with Nintendo, and they've had crazy sales figures for Octopath Traveler. I totally forgot about the Final Fantasy games from the last Direct video as well, which is a bit of an oversight. We could get some cool news about Final Fantasy VII on Switch, or other titles that Square Enix want to do. Who knows what new games they could be working on right now. There's also been lots of rumours about Assassin's Creed on Switch. Czech retailers did a leak talking about February 15th being a release date on the Switch. It's already due to be on other consoles and other platforms, but we've not had any confirmation about the Switch yet. Who knows how true that was? It would make sense. It should be able to run on the system, and at a reasonable price, I would buy it. I love Assassin's Creed, and I really love the Ezio games, so yeah, bring it to the Switch. Finally though, we're getting to the big news, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot of games to talk about, a lot of leaks, and a lot of potential release dates. According to Nintendo Soup, Emily Rogers, who also leaked details of Pokemon Let's Go, has predicted at least 8 mystery games with a high likelihood of them coming in 2019. Emily Rogers has said there are 5 titles coming from Nintendo themselves, and that doesn't even include a new Labo kit that she's also predicted to come in 2019. So the games are supposed to be made up of 4 mystery titles and a Wii U port from 2013. This again would point towards Pikmin 3 because it was released in 2013. There are also due to be 2 Switch exclusive eShop games coming this year. Super Mario Maker 2 would make sense as one of these titles from Nintendo, and either a 2D Zelda or an HD remaster of a Zelda game as well. There's been a lot of rumours about Skyward Sword coming to Switch, so those could be 2 of those mystery games from Nintendo. What the others could be gets very interesting. A lot of these in my head, or a lot of these things I've heard rumours about, revolve around Mario games. There's Paper Mario or a Mario RPG game on Switch. That would really get fans excited. Nintendo have already stated that one mystery game coming this year will make fans very happy. The Paper Mario and Mario RPG series, they're all kind of intertwined, as well as the Mario and Luigi games that have mainly been on handhelds. The series of games as a whole has sold a ton in the past, and it's crying out for a revival. Just like the most ultimate complete version of Smash and the revival of Mario Party, we've seen new ideas, we've seen innovation, we've seen series transformed by the new Nintendo. What I would say though is getting new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Super Mario Maker 2, and a new Paper Mario or Mario RPG game in 2019, that would just be crazy though. The Switch is aiming for a long life cycle, and they need to spread out their big IPs and their big games across those years. The character I think though that really does need a new game and would not have as much of an impact on this is Donkey Kong. It might not sell as much as Mario or Zelda, but Tropical Freeze was a port and a 2014 game. Retro have been enlisted to sort out the stalled Metroid Prime 4 game, but they must have been working on something since the Wii U release. There was a lot of talk of a Star Fox racing game. I'd say we need more Donkey Kong more than Star Fox. A reimagining of the Donkey Kong series along the lines of Odyssey or Breath of the Wild in 3D, I think that would be really cool. Or just a new 2D platforming adventure title, that would go down really well with me. This, of course, it all sounds like a lot of games, and Emily Rogers went as far as to say that up to 11 games may be coming. That included Retro's secret game, so Star Fox Racing, or in my mind potentially a Donkey Kong game. That included Metroid Prime Trilogy and also another Wii U port. That could point towards the Wonderful 101. Platinum Games have been teasing a big year for them, so Bayonetta 3 and Wonderful 101 in 2019/2020. Now this has turned into a long rant/fanboy monologue, but that's still not all the rumours. That's just the potential games. We already know that Yoshi's Crafted World, Daemon X Machina, Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem Three Houses, a Pokemon Next Gen game, and supposedly Town are all coming in 2019. That's a hell of a list on its own. One of my favourite online game retailers in the UK, Base.com, jumped the gun recently, and they've added release dates to their site for Daemon X Machina, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Animal Crossing. Daemon X Machina is due for release on the 24th of May, which in my mind kind of makes sense. I always thought it'd be an April/May game. It's likely to play second fiddle to Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that should really be the big hitter for Nintendo in spring. If Daemon X Machina is arriving in May and the Fire Emblem Three Houses Expo is also taking place in Japan on May 4th, this makes the release of Fire Emblem pretty awkward. It either points towards Fire Emblem arriving in April to hit its spring window, or it's been pushed back slightly into June, and the Expo will show off a demo and lots of release news before it's out. Following on from that, Luigi's Mansion 3 also got a release date from Base.com, but it's a bit of a surprise. It's down on their site as the 19th of July. I thought it would work out well as an October Halloween release for obvious reasons, but July's thrown me a little. We've seen some gameplay, so it's exciting to know it could come a few months earlier than expected, but it's a little bit of a strange release window. Animal Crossing though, it's the final game Base.com gave a release date for, and it's due to be 13th of September if you look at their site. It was expected to be a fall type of game, and it allows Nintendo to hype it up through the summer and through the E3 season. We've not had news yet on Bayonetta 3, which I'm really excited for, and at some point during the next Direct or in spring, I'd expect to hear more about that and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3's release. There was quite a lot of gameplay in the Game Awards reveal of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and if the April slot is still empty, then it would make sense for the game to release alongside the Avengers Endgame movie. There's been a lot of speculation about lots of games, a lot of information, but what I know from looking at all of this is a Direct can't be far away, and having one next week makes sense. There's a lot of smoke about February 13th either being the Direct date or it being the reveal date. Nintendo seem to like having directs in the middle of the month as well, so fingers crossed Nintendo really do have an awesome birthday present for me next week. So those are all the updates on the latest leaks and news about a Nintendo Direct in February. I'd love to hear what you think about a possible Direct next week. Is there anything I've missed? Is there any games or news or surprises you think Nintendo have for us this year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If this is your first time, then I hope you enjoyed the video, and please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. All the links for the rumours and leaked news will be in the comments down below, so you can check them out for yourselves. Also, if you liked the video, press that thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. See you on the next video.